Good morning, this is Matthias Cheng here again from Future Fast Forward. This will be a continuing discussion on propaganda and counter-propaganda and false flag operations. In my last address, I gave you various examples of false flag operations and how this operation confuses people and brainwash their mind to take stances and conclusions which are contrary to reality and the truth. Recently, you have read across Straits Times, Star newspapers, and Malay Mail and social media that some Malaysians who are members of ISIS has called for the killing and slaughter of so-called unbelievers, those who oppose Islam, and have gone over to Syria to wage war in Syria against the great Satan, America, Britain, and Israel. But I'm sure all these young people who are in the fervor and devotion to Islam have been misled because they've been brainwashed by propaganda given out by intelligence services. Because in my previous address, I've said to you that Al-Qaeda, ISIS, is a construct of the CIA, MI5, MI6, the Mossad, and financed by Saudi Arabia and their version of Islam, Wahhabism. I've also stated in my previous address that William Casey, the former director of CIA, and Robin Cook, the former foreign minister of Great Britain, have already told you in no uncertain terms that Al-Qaeda is a construct of intelligence agency. Now, some of you may still have doubts on this area, despite my invitation to you to do your research. But I hope today I put a nail in the coffin to this propaganda by foreign intelligence services. Can you focus on this headline and picture? Israeli intel chief: we don't want ISIS defeated in Syria. Look at this picture. Major General Herzi Halevi, Israeli intel chief. And it says, Israel does not want to see ISIS defeated in the war. Please read it once again, the headlines, and have this picture tattooed in your mind. Therefore, if there's any picture or words that conclusively states that ISIS is not the enemy of Israel, is not the enemy of US, but a construct, an organization created by them, this is a proof. Because if ISIS was fighting against Zionism, against Israel, against CIA, why would the intel chief of Israel, Major General Herzi Halevi, says, we don't want ISIS to be defeated. They serve our interests. Therefore, ISIS is a puppet. I repeat, ISIS is a puppet of the elites that control the geopolitical warfare in the Middle East, specifically in Syria and Iraq. Yet, our Malaysian youth has been misled. Remember this headline? Malaysian ISIS members give a warning that they will kill non-believers. Alright? And these are the words which they have said. And as quoted and published in the Malay Mail, and I will now read to you word for word what they say. The man in the middle of the picture has been identified as Muhammad Rafi Udin from Negeri Sembilan. And this is what he says about killing unbelievers. Kill them wherever you meet them. If you have a car, hit them. Use weapons and knives to stab them in the chest. He also issued a warning to the police in Bukit Aman. Quote, those of you in Bukit Aman, you will no longer have peace. We will slaughter you when we return. Our friends back home will hunt you down. This man, Rafi, has been identified by the police as a former member of Kumpulan Mujahidin Malaysia, KMM, who left Malaysia for Syria in 2004 to fight for ISIS. Little does he know that ISIS was a construct of those intelligence services and of Israel. Because I'm sure before he left Malaysia, if he knew the Israelis intelligence services are involved, he would have gone to Syria. That's why I'm telling you repeatedly, propaganda, brainwashing is so pernicious, so insidious. It rapes your mind, it violates your mind, it distorts truth and make you believe in lies, outright lies. And this is happening now. Young men brainwashed to kill. And worse still, recently it has been admitted and shown across the world in videos that even ISIS killed its own members who were realizing that they are puppets of the Israelis, puppets of Western intelligence agencies. When they refuse to fight, they are put in cages, steel cages, and dropped into the ocean or sea and drowned alive. For their wives, sisters or daughters who refuse to follow ISIS or be sex slave to the soldiers of ISIS, they are put in cages, petrol poured over them and burned. So I'm asking you, Muslim brethren of Malaysia, young people who wants to take up your sword or arms or weapons in a jihad to fight the enemies, please ask yourself, who is the enemy? If you think it's Israel, then it cannot be true, because the intel chief of Israel says that they don't want you to be defeated because you serve them. You do their bidding. You are the cannon folder, the stooge, the stool pigeon, the patsies. That's why it is so horrific. The following this expose, first by the Israeli intel chief, second by a call by a Malaysian ISIS member to kill non-believers. We have just last week the Pahang Mufti confirming that he said, and he has classified DAP, that they can be killed as kafir habi, because there is a belief or principle that kafir habi refers to non-believers who can be slain for waging war against Islam. The word is waging war against Islam. Since when has DAP waged war against Islam? Alright? This is the picture of him. What he says. So I'd like to pose a question, because it was from Pahang, the state in which Najib rules supreme. Does Najib and the leaders of UMNO condone such insidious, pernicious anti-Islam statement against a fellow citizen. It's horrendous. And you will recall in my previous address, I've exposed that all this issue of hudud, the call to be against non-Muslims, is diversion from the real truth. That in fact many Muslims are against Hadi hudud, emphasize that, are against Hadi and past version of hudud. I, as a Christian, as a lawyer, I have no fear of hudud. But I do not support Hadi or past version of hudud. In fact, many UMNO members and other Malays who are not members of PAS do not support hudud and against hudud as pronounced by Hadi. You will recall, Hadi used to accuse all UMNO members of kafir. But today, Hadi wants to jump in bed with kafir UMNO. If you are kafir, can you unkafir, so to speak? They have been labeled UMNO as enemy of Islam, kafir. But today, Hadi and PAS wants to get in bed with UMNO. And UMNO didn't say anything. But UMNO, very cleverly, has found stooges among the Chinese leaders in the MCA. Alright? Because on the 25th of May, when Hadi presented a motion to introduce hudud in Parliament, there was a hue and cry, and leaders from the Chinese community condemned hudud, condemned PAS, and create all kind of confusion and fear among the simple, righteous, God-fearing Muslims, to the extent that there was a backlash. And now Malays are condemning Chinese for interfering in the practice of their religion, for not understanding Islam and opposing Islam, and call Chinese Cina Babi. Are we surprised? So you have Chinese provoking the Muslims, and there's a counter attack by the Muslims. Two hands clapping, tensions created, confusion created, and voila! Najib regime and PAS tried to divert the main issue. Now, to the extent that I've said UMNO has no guts to oppose hudud, PAS version of hudud, this was again revealed by none other than this spineless, stupid woman, the chief of MC Wanita, Dato' Hang Seng Kee. And he issued a statement, right, on the 21st of May, saying why she was willing to be a stooge, a barking dog for UMNO to oppose hudud. I want you to listen carefully what she said, because I've already said it in my last address, but I want to repeat to you so that you have no misunderstanding how devious, how sinister is this conspiracy on the part of MCA as personified by this woman and some UMNO leaders to cause chaos in this country. I read to you. Wanita MCA chief Hang Seng Kee believes the UMNO hands are tied. UMNO hands are tied on this issue due to religious considerations. Due to this scenario, BN parties such as MCA, Gerakan, and MIC had to step up to the plate, as it is too sensitive for UMNO to oppose. It is thus left to BN component parties to do the check and balance to safeguard the spirit of moderation of our beloved country, she said in the press statement. So you have it here. A full confession admission by Wanita MCA that UMNO hands are tied. They dare not openly oppose hudud. So they asked the China Kwai to oppose hudud. In Chinese, it's called Jeto Satyan, which I have referred to you earlier in my address. Jeto Satyan. Borrow a knife or sword to kill a person on behalf of another, because UMNO don't have the guts to do battle with PAS, so they get this stupid woman and MCA to do battle, thereby creating a racial, religious confrontation unnecessarily and without basis between Muslims and non-Muslims, in the hope that chaos will arise and all the people in Malaysia, the riot, will be diverted from one MDB, the lies, the cheating, the robbery, and the financial rape of country by the Najib regime, to a non-issue, red herring hudud. So please, fellow Malaysians, do not fall prey to this propaganda, to this false flag operation. Let me assure you, it's a matter of time before foreign intelligence services acting with scumbags in this country will create an incident of an ISIS running wild, killing people in Malaysia to justify the imposition of emergency and, worse still, mass arrests and tighter laws, security laws, to entrench the police state, to entrench a tyrannical regime in our country. So I would like you to bear in mind, focus on main issues and not diversion or false flag operations. Focus on main issues. And I want you also to focus on the Najib Rosmah dynasty. Okay? Keyword dynasty. What a coincidence. The way the word dynasty is spelled and pronounced is die and nasty. And let me assure you that regime will die because it's nasty, it lies, it cheats, it's corrupt, it's a financial rapist and armed robbers. Now, in the years to come and months to come, and even in years to come, so long as we have a tyrannical government in power, there will always be propaganda and false flag operation. So at each time, each period, in order to know the truth, you have to ask the following questions. Are your leaders cowards? Are they cowardly? Or do they take courageous stance on principles? Do they tell lies and cover truth? Or do they tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Do they promote stagnation? Or do they promote dynamism and growth? Do they make weak and lousy decisions as opposed to sound judgments? Do they flip-flop? Or do they conduct straight talking? Be truthful to you, be sincere. Are they inconsistent or consistent? These are all questions which you must ask yourself every time when you read a newspaper, listen to a radio announcement, TV announcement. Are they doing all these things? You must ask this question to yourself. You must think carefully and answer them. Okay? Because this will help you to distinguish between genuine people and scumbags. Therefore, another approach is to do this. Every leader that comes out of the regime, ministers, alright, adults, members of parliament, alright, ask yourself, compare and contrast. Are they phony politicians or genuine public servants? Are they competent or incompetent? Ask yourself these questions. Okay? Are they greedy? Cash is king. Everything's money, money, to buy power, to buy votes. Or are they devoted to selfless devotion? Do they betray the riot as opposed to serving the people and putting Malaysia first? These are the questions which you must constantly pose to yourself, because that's the only way you can overcome propaganda. By seeking for truth, you will have counter the propaganda. Alright, it's so simple. Let me warn you, the days ahead, there'll be a lot of crises, there'll be a lot of problems, but be assured that you will prevail. We will prevail and we will win against any corrupt, criminal enterprise and regime. The days of Najib is numbered, believe you me, because the present regime is part of a global cabal of criminals, financial rapists. That's why Obama is supporting the Najib regime. That is why David Cameron supports the Najib regime. That's why it's so important for now those activists hearing me in this address, those leaders in the forefront fighting against the regime, please go out to the country and explain in simple terms what I'm going to say to you. Because many people have asked me on WhatsApp, email, SMS, what will be the impact of Brexit on Malaysia? The vote in England to get out of Europe. This is a major landmark geopolitical development. In summary, it means that the people of UK are sick and fed up of the corruption in England, of the control by banks, financial institutions that destroy economy and reach the fat cats. There's no longer any more democracy or independence in UK. That is why they're rebelling. And they're rebelling not on a simple fairy tale, but because they can see the personification of that corruption in Obama, who came to UK and threatened the people of UK. If you don't remain in Europe, there'll be no special relationship with America. Likewise, David Cameron bark and echo the sentiments of America, because they are part of the global elite network of central banks and financiers to control our economy. And Najib is part of that international cabal. When UK voted to get out of Europe, soon you will see other countries follow the example. People want to put their country first, not scumbags, robbers, rapists, criminals, politicians. This is the major impact. Obviously, in time to come, you will have also a financial, economic consequences. But most important for you to grasp right now, there is a global resurgence against corruption, criminal leaders, and tyrannical regimes. Believe you me, because Malaysian leaders, by and large, are robots. Being a former colony of UK, rather England, we tend to look to them for leadership, and quite often our leaders adopt their policies without question. That's why so many of our leaders, line up and queue up to seek advice from Mother England, not knowing that the global situation is such that we follow a fool like David Cameron and Obama, we destroy our country. So, be confident that this regime which is a puppet of foreign powers, of geopolitical powers, they will not last long. Because they have no substance, they're empty, alright? They're low on intellect or no intellect at all, totally bankrupt intellectually. With that, may I, once again, call upon all Malaysians. We are living in very, very dangerous times. Do not underestimate. When regimes are in their deathbed, they will do everything to maintain power. And the first choice, first option on the table are false flag operations, using terrorism as the bait to put fear in you and to introduce legislations to give them enhanced power, secret measures to protect themselves and to oppress you. But, as I said before, do not panic, fear not. If you surrender yourself completely to the will of God, have absolute faith that He will defend you, protect you, and guide you in all circumstances, against all enemies and adversities. If you have that moral fiber, you and I, we will prevail and we will win. Be patient, be resilient, be strong. With that, may I say thank you for your attention and have a good day.